Hi, welcome to A Foreigner in the Philippines. This is another story from my book, 7 Days, a short story for each day of a week in the Philippines. And these are my early impressions when I first got here, and I was writing a lot then. So this one is for Sunday, and it was taken from something that actually happened. My Sunday morning with Apo. This morning I was taken by my newfound friend and massage therapist Sam to see Apo, an ancient little Filipino lady. She is a village elder, a wise woman and a hands-on healer who works for free, giving help to all who come to her gate of her simple old world compound. A tricycle taxi driver, head swathed in a t-shirt as protection from the relentless sun, holding his baby, was next in line after me. I removed my shoes and entered the simple bamboo thatched hut where she dispenses her healing. It was just big enough for 4 people to sit, surrounded by walls covered in pictures of Christ and the Madonna. Little shrines to the saints are honoured by the light of flickering candles. The compound is hard-packed dirt swept clean daily by a helper with a simple, traditional bunch of twigs bound together. There's a sense of peace about the yard, with old nipa huts around the edges, built in time-honoured way, with palm fronds for roofs. Looking around, I can see it is a sanctuary for those in need, and a refuge from the outside world. The young woman who had come to the gate to let us in was just one such refugee, with her face disfigured enough to make life outside the compound difficult. It seemed there were several such helpers who took care of aging Apo in return for their shelter. They treated her with great reverence. Mother hens were chased by frantic chicks. Stately ducks with their fluffy ducklings waddled about the open spaces of the compound, living in harmony with the many small dogs and cats, too numerous to count, as I was being introduced to Apo's healing hands. I greeted the barefoot Apo in her simple dress where she sat serenely, with the traditional Filipino respect for an elder. I bent low and pressed the back of the outstretched gnarled hand she offered to my forehead as she quietly acknowledged me by murmuring the word bless. She massaged my leg and back with hot hands as she talked quietly in Kapampangan to Sam and pointed out veins and knotted muscles in my leg which were on fire even as she worked. I'm a big baby, and when she presses hard on my knee I whimper, "Aray ko," which I'd learned literally translates to "ouch me." I'm a pathetic affront to bravery in the face of pain, and a terrible patient, but Apo was not impressed or deterred from her task. She pulled and cracked my toes fit to break them, and tried unsuccessfully to do the same with my fingers. "See," she told Sam, who I was leaning on as she sat with me, "see how his fingers don't crack, he is like a clenched fist." Her bony hand formed the fist that described me. Amazingly, I began to feel better and I was given my orders. "Your body is cold," she told me. "No cold showers or iced drinks, and wear pants, no shorts, and do the exercises," she gave me. When Sam told me about Apo, she expected I would refuse to see her when I smilingly called Apo a witch doctor. But she did not know that I am an easy sell for all things magical, for all things mystical, for spiritual journeys to the soul. Give me spells and incantations and healing hands that warm and soothe, and I am easily taken away from the so-called reality of the world as seen by those of a more practical nature. I am willing to be transported to the ancient, enchanted other world, on little more than the promise of change and the fragrance of exotic oils and herbs. Apo captivated me with her eyes which burned so bright in a face deepened by age and compassion. She looked not at me but into me, and touched not just my physical pain, but something deeper within, where healing is about things that are far beyond the mere physical. On my second visit, she acceded to my Western culture and submitted to a hug. I towered above her, and as frail as she was, I could hardly feel her in my arms. I placed the 200 pesos which I had to force her to take in the basket, which held the materials of her healing magic, the various oils from sweet-smelling coconut and crushed herbs. As we said goodbye, I stepped down into the yard, and she stood framed in the doorway of the tiny bamboo healing hut, and her smoky eyes met mine. Apo nodded her head, smiled mischievously from her wrinkled brown leather face, and with an open palm hand, she invited a high five. This is a foreigner in the Philippines. Thanks for listening.